Welcome to a brand new episode of Tell Me Something Good. I'm your host, Jelly.
And I'm your host, Jackie. And today we have a very special guest, Edwin.
Yay.
Wait, why was that not excited? So Edwin is the owner of Gotham GSO, which is where we shoot. And he owns Merch Connect. Mm-hmm. And that's really all we know about him. So today we're going to get into more about his life and what else?
Just get to know him.
Get to know him and being a young entrepreneur, kind of getting into that. But first, Edwin, tell us something good.
Tell us something good. I would say something good about what? Like give me
Anything good,
context.
like a
Anything good in life?
something good that happened today, this week.
Something good.
Something you're excited about.
Well, I just lost a bunch of sports bets, so I'm not in like thinking good mentality right now. I'm thinking good. What happened good this week? I mean the weather's been good in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right?
I love the rain.
Yeah, me too.
Something better.
That's good.
Okay.
That's really good. Honestly, that was my something good today too.
Me was the rain.
Mine was that the weather is getting colder. Mm-hmm. So that was my something good. Was that your something good?
Same.
The weather. That's how you know when in doubt, talk about the weather. All right. So Edwin, we don't know anything about you really. Besides, it's okay. What do we know about him?
I feel like he's mysterious.
No,
Like even
I'm
online,
not.
even
Yes,
online,
he is.
like
I'm not. I'm really not. Online, you said?
yeah, like I don't
Online
know.
where?
Like
Where
you
would
don't
I?
post that, do you have like some
On where though? Where would I
Instagram.
post myself?
Instagram?
I do have Instagram, but like, I mean, I guess that's a different trend nowadays where businesses are showcasing like who's behind the business a lot.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I have a personal Instagram where I'm like completely an open book. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm not mysterious at all. You don't ask questions. If you ask questions, I'll
That's
give you
true.
answers.
Because I thought we always think you're mysterious. We're like, we don't know anything about him. Like,
Well, just because you don't know something about someone doesn't mean
Yeah,
they're
that is
mysterious,
true.
oh,
right?
that is true.
All right. It just means you're not inquisiting, right?
And we even asked him before the podcast. We were like, "Is there anything you don't want us to ask?" He said he's an open book. So
I'm open book, but if there's something you ask, like I'll probably just say I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
all right. So how long has this been open? Gotham.
Gotham's been open, I think, about 3 years now.
And you've owned it the whole.
Mm-hmm. 3 years, and it's been like a learning process in itself. But it's the studio is probably majority of like what brings traffic to Gotham, the photo studio side. But it's like, I guess a lot of people think it's my main thing. It's not. Like Merch Connect, which is the t-shirt printing company, that'd be the main thing. The studio at this point kind of is self-sustainable. I mean, if we want to get into more interesting aspects of it, I will say the studio has brought in a lot of drama, though. Yeah.
Really?
Like, if there's any drama in my life, it would be because of the studio. I think partially because of the audience. So with the t-shirt printing company, we work with a lot of corporate companies, small businesses. So the level of professionalism is always there. And I have to maintain professionalism no matter what. Even if they piss me off, I have to kind of... With the studio, though, because... And I hate to say it like this, but it's the reality. Because it's not like a mainstream of income. Because it doesn't... To be transparent, it doesn't make that much money. I think I'm a lot more flexible with how to react to certain things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, with that being said, yeah, the studio been around 3 years. It's good to what it could be in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Because it's not New York, it's not LA. So a studio of this size, with a podcast room and whatnot, it would do really well in like big cities. But I think it's hit its peak here.
Well, I have noticed it more, like even other people that I follow that come and shoot here. So I think it's something that people are learning about, and more people are coming here to do shoots than maybe they were back then, right? Now.
I would say it's pretty consistent to back then.
Really?
It's pretty consistent. So from a studio perspective, on a business level, the real revenue is not those photographers that we all know. The real revenue is the businesses. The reality is in North Carolina, there's not a lot of businesses that have the budget to book this out. So we probably have 3 really good clients who will be like, oh, let me book this whole day. Let me book this whole week. That's where the money is from a studio perspective, not the, oh, I want to do my photo shoot here. Give me 2 hours. And not saying I don't like that. You know what I mean? So what's this? It's become more of a community hub for creatives.
Yeah.
More so than a great business.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah.
But that is interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like they've had really cool shoots on there.
Very
like
cool
sometimes
shoots.
we're like, that is so cool.
Very
Last
cool.
week we were walking out and there was like so many people. I felt like I was in a runway. You know where they're like, get the camera, get the
Yeah.
like, everybody was doing something, right? And we were like, what is it? What was that for? Can we ask?
Was this last week you said?
Yeah, I think it was last week, but it was like packed, right? Wasn't it? Was
It looked like
last
a
week?
runway thing.
Or was it the week before? I think it might have been the
was
week
2
before.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
There was like models and there were so many
I think
photographers.
it was a photographer meetup. But that, I mean, I guess to the blind eye, it looked real cool. But to like somebody who understands photography, it was amateur hour, like heavy
Really?
amateur hour. Yeah, like it was. And again, everybody starts somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But it was just a photography meetup where like a bunch of photographers of all levels. But when it's usually all levels, a lot of beginners show up. So it was their first time in a real, like, a fully equipped photo studio. So they were just excited, and it was cool. It was
Yeah.
a cool event for sure. But
Oh, and it is fully equipped, y'all. That's something that we can mention, that you literally have everything. We get the cameras, the lighting here, everything. We don't own these cameras.
Yeah.
Because how much are these cameras, by the way?
they're probably like, actually, yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably like 13 a piece. 13.
Yeah. I have to be careful with them. I'm like,
Yeah.
I did one time. Never mind. I was going to say, I broke
dropped one?
not the camera. I broke one of the, what is it called?
Tripods.
But I brought you a new one. So you're
Oh,
Yeah.
you didn't have to do that. You guys-
I did. But
That's a very respectful response. Things break
Yeah.
down there all the time. I just tell them just to let me know. That's part of the business. So you didn't have to do that.
Well-
Had you told me, I would have respected the fact that you told me, and then I would have said, "Don't worry about it. We got it."
Well, I got the same one that you had. It was this one right here,
Yeah,
actually.
Amazon.
Okay.
Right? It was a good one. Those are really good, by the way.
Uh-huh.
But
But how do you manage to break a tripod?
I don't
Those are
know.
pretty sturdy.
I think I turned it too much. Right? I overturned it. Tell us about your background. Like, did you grow up in?
Oh, so I'm from New York, born and raised in New York, in Queens, and I would say, like, what part of my background you want to know?
I guess like about your family.
Family, okay, single mother household. Definitely mention that because it definitely shapes people different. Single mother, had an older brother, ended up being father figure later on. Grew up in New York, hung around mostly black kids, Spanish kids throughout elementary, middle school, and a little bit of high school, and then ended up hanging out with some more Korean kids. I'm Korean. And then ended up moving here like maybe about like 20. Well, I moved here maybe like 26, or I got the warehouse like 26. Actually, like maybe like, what is that? Like 6-7 years ago. But I didn't really move here until maybe about 3 years ago. So I had somebody kind of managing the spot. And yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I've traveled a good amount for work, as in not just traveled, but like got up and moved to a different city or state. I will say, I think Greensboro, or like just North Carolina, this area in general, is probably the best medium. Because I lived in New York, I lived in the Caribbean before, which is real slow, like island time, versus New York is real fast. North Carolina is a perfect middle ground. Yeah.
Where does your mom live now?
She just moved to Korea, recently, which is, I mean, it's even that is interesting to like kind of cope with. Not cope in the sense of like I'm hurting or anything, but it's different to not be able to just see your mom at will. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I think a part of it was, I mentioned she was single growing up, right? Part of it was loneliness. It was me and my brother, but we both have our own lives. So I think she was just lonely, where I've learned the lesson watching her. Not that she could change it now, but it's like, especially immigrant parents, right? Like, we're all like come from immigrant families. The parents kind of just give up everything for the kids, which ironically you appreciate that as a kid, but you want them to still fulfill their own, life, because what's the point later when you've done your job? Now you're like stuck, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And you almost feel guilty when you're living your life. Like, let's say you or us, like when we start traveling and our parents haven't done any of the things that we're doing, you're like, how come I get to do this because they sacrifice? You do feel guilty about, you want them to live. I tell my mom that all the time too, because she just went to Mexico with her girlfriends this week. I was like, go, you need girls trip. And she was like, I don't know. I'm like, just do it. Like, you've never had the chance to do something like this. And us, like, if that opportunity came to us, we'd be like, bye. Don't even think about it once or twice. Yeah. But that's amazing, though, that I'm glad that your mom's, and she has her family in Korea.
She has family there, and it's just, I guess, more of a comfortable setting. But I also told her, like, because she immigrated here, like, let's just call it like 50 years ago or something. She's never been back since, like, now. And I'm like explaining to her, yeah, it's not what you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, time has passed, like, things have changed, So, I mean, I speak with her pretty regularly, and she's adapting to the transitions pretty well.
Oh, that's good. I had a question, but now my mind went blank.
We're gonna spin off a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think, how did we get to that?
I don't know.
Just tell me a little about yourself or your background or some shit.
So, what inspired? What did you do prior to this?
Prior to
having your own business, or what?
Was that always something you wanted to do, like growing up, or was it like you never?
All right. So that part, I'll just give a quick. So I would say from like, you guys were born here. Okay. So, I would say like maybe during high school, I used to sell some weed, right? And in New York, it's pretty common, like with kids, like they'll just try to find like, I guess, easier means for money. So throughout like high school until like 20-ish, I sold some weed in New York. And then... do I get into this? You guys want to know everything?
Yeah. Tell us. We have time.
Yeah. All right. So,
I mean, are you going to go to jail?
No.
We're not trying to get you incarcerated.
So around 19, 20, when I was selling weed, I was doing really well for that age, relatively speaking. And then some older guy from the neighborhood, who's pretty like known for like some scary stuff, like extorting people and shit. He was a very known person. He ended up robbing me, all right? And then that's when I realized, okay, I'm not about that life. Because in that game, you can't let stuff like that happen, or you just don't belong there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you would have to do something, or you're just food to everybody else, right?
You have to retaliate, kind of.
It's something. You have to do something, or else everybody's just gonna be like, oh, okay, you could just do that and then get away with that, right? And then that's because when I realized, okay, I'm not really willing to do that or anything with this guy. Like, I was willing to, if the circumstances led to it, like, I'll fight or whatever. But like, this guy was kind of like more like, he'll send some people to like, break shit at your house or like do something to your mom or something like that. I'm not like that, right? So I was like, okay, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want that kind of drama. So that's when I realized, okay, this life isn't for me, because that's another problem I guess a lot of kids deal with that end up selling like weed or whatever. They'll think you could just make the money. But that's a lesson I learned then was, no, it's like the part of that game is like understanding the stick-up game. People are going to try to rob you always. That doesn't go away. And then you got to protect your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you don't want to get robbed and then, you know, everybody thinks you're just easy food, right? So that's when I realized, okay, that life isn't for me. And then I was trying to get my shit together. I was going to school for like finance, like corporate banking. And then a business opportunity came through my older brother. And then that was more e-commerce focused, which is kind of the background prior to Merch Connect. And then that ended up doing well. The e-com did well, but that was also short-lived because the e-com business is always changing. And then that ended up, we were doing e-com for like kind of standard niche-based designs on shirts. We were using a vendor out in North Carolina to do our shirts. They kept fucking up our orders, so we're like, all right, let's just invest in the equipment ourselves, and just so originally it was to print for our own e-commerce stuff. Again, long story short, the e-com part of that business died down, but we still had the equipment. So we were like, okay, let's kind of hedge the investment and then just make it into its own business, offering the printing services. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes. It like kind of aligned. Everything just aligned.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it, but that's part of the entrepreneurship. Is you just got to kind of figure out how to pivot, improvise, because things are always going to change. And it's never going to go according to plan. So.
Yeah, so is that one of your lessons that you've learned, like with being a business owner? Because I feel like there's so many things that happen and people can easily quit because they're like, well, let's say the e-commerce thing didn't work. Now I got to go back to a 9-to-5 or do this, you know? What are some of the lessons that you've had to learn throughout being a business owner?
Well, resilience, which is like cliche, but that's really what it comes down to, is like you mix that persistency with hard work. It's just, that's kind of like a proven formula just to succeed in anything, honestly. And another thing is adaptation. That's a big thing that I feel like I've been training my whole life, even without realizing it, you know? Just like even if you transfer schools or something like that, you got to learn to kind of adapt to that new environment and understand, like, for example, a new school, it may be simple, but there's already, if you transfer to a new school, there's already established social circles, right? So it's recognizing that, right? But that applies to like sometimes some events that I go to today. Is like there's some events I go to, I understand I'm not from here. I understand I'm not from like a rich white family, right? So some of these events I go to, that's kind of the audience, right? So I understand I'm a foreign object here. You know what I'm saying? So it's recognizing that and then trying to navigate, okay, how do I kind of mix myself in, you know, from their perspective to make it comfortable, right? So that's a lesson, is just learning to adapt, right? And you're gonna mess up, right? Like some people, like especially here locally, they'll be like, oh, you're so good at some of these networking events, right? They'll see me at some of the events and whatnot, and I'll tell them like, you guys haven't seen like the ones where I went, said some stupid shit, got embarrassed, but stuck around. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like it's been a whole process. You know what I'm saying? There's been tons of events, like not anymore, but like there's been events in the past where I'll drive somewhere to go. I'm in the car and I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to go. You know, because I don't want to go, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But it's just understanding, okay, what's going to help the business, right?
Yeah, that is true.
I feel like I need to work on that, like networking and talking to people. I'm just so.
But your confidence.
You gotta be uncomfortable.
I think it grows the more you go to these things.
Yeah.
Of course, that's everything, though.
Yeah,
right? It's anything you do. The more you do it, the more you experience it. You just grow more confident. And a big part of it is also learning to not really care.
Yeah,
you know? Like a lot of people say that, right? They say, oh, I don't really give a fuck what people think. They say that shit, but they don't really live that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because social media trains you to care. That's another thing I learned young. I learned that young. I don't know why, but I deactivated Facebook and I realized like, oh shit, I have a whole new sense of freedom once I did that. You know what I mean? Because there's this analogy that I made during high school in a high school paper. It's called there's this short story of a jail called the Panopticon. You guys ever heard of that? So the concept is, it's a jail, but in the middle of the jail, there's a building where inside of that building, or like a tower, where you can't see inside of it if you're outside, but you can see outside. So the concept is that these prisoners have this thing in the middle where they don't know if they're being watched, right?
Yeah.
So because they don't know they're being watched, they behave better, right? So
Yes.
I made that analogy with Facebook, as in like we're the way we act is being shaped because we feel like we're being watched all the time.
That is
That is
true.
true.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a dangerous concept, right? Is like, because that strays far away from who you are, right?
Like, how would we act if we didn't think we were being watched?
Exactly. And that's, I feel like, is one of the goals of life, is to just be you, right? Because that we hear that all growing up, is like, be you, be you, be you. But at the same time, like, we don't even realize we're being shaped by who's watching.
By
right?
Especially people you know. Facebook is just mostly people you grew up with.
Exactly.
Or at least for me.
You don't talk to, you don't even talk to
That's
90% of those people, right? So it's just like, and there's like, you know, long-term effects of that, of like how you change, but there's short-term, like even something as subtle as like a girl who just got, you know, into a big breakup. I see them throw shade toward their ex. Like, they're just, that story is meant for the ex. It might be trying to make them jealous on some toxic shit. Like, they're posting, you know, them at a bar and just some mysterious.
Well,
like,
no.
Who am I with?
We know you're
like,
single.
Yeah, I mean, girls do that shit
Yeah.
all the time. I see it in my stories till this day. You know what I mean? Like, and guys do it too. Just to, you know, guys, like, it's always shade. But that's my point, is like, social media has been used as more of a tool than it has been. I mean, the original motive of it, which is like to connect, right?
Yeah.
But like, and so I named that paper that I was talking about the anti-social network, because it's technically taking away from like the social healthy part of it, of everything.
Yeah. That is
I
so
feel
true.
like Facebook too, because I realized that.
Yeah. And every time, I mean, when we do post, we're like, we think, what are people going to say about this?
Yeah.
Okay, this is good.
Well,
Post
this
it.
is different. This is a business. So this I
Yeah.
understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand this. It's more so, I mean, because you could still put some strategy and thought into like how you want to curate it, but you guys aren't scripted. You guys are still being you. There's still an aspect of you in this. You know what I'm saying? Versus social media, the scary part is like, are you even you at this point? You know what I mean? Or is everything you're posting? Because who posts the ugly pictures of themselves, right? Nobody does
My mom
that.
posts my ugly pictures.
Why would anyone do that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trained to just show what you want to show, versus, you know, that's not really all of you. That's just what you want to show of you, right?
Yeah, and I admire people who do. Like, I follow one person who will literally post anything. Like, she'll
Yeah.
wake up and be like, I just like literally everything. And I literally, like, I admire that
Yeah.
about her.
100%. Yeah, no, it's that freedom. She has that freedom where she just doesn't care.
I want to be like that. I'm going to be like that starting today. If y'all see me post stuff that you're not used to. What other questions did we have? You have a good list. So she has a good list.
Yeah, hit me.
I have a few, I think.
What's something most people wouldn't know about you?
That's something most people wouldn't know about me. I used to play the flute. I used to be pretty good when I was like real young. I went to like a pretty well-known music school in New York called LaGuardia, which is where Nicki Minaj went, and a whole bunch of other like pretty big musical talents. Yeah.
I feel like I've heard of it.
I feel like that word, that Lagoria,
Yeah.
maybe not.
That's really cool.
It's a famous school in New York,
Yeah.
like for like, and it's right across the street from Juilliard, which is also another.
Oh
famous-
yeah, I've heard of.
Yes.
Juilliard.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I bet that school was like so different from just a regular school.
It is. So that's where I went for my freshman year of high school, and then I transferred out. That's one. If I have one regret, it's probably that. Is like not really. I was just too young, too immature to understand like the brilliant people I was around, because like they're all really good at something, and
Yeah.
that's something I realized we all, like, a lot of people lack at our age, like, you know, like mid-20s.
Especially
like
public schools. Like
exactly.
I feel like they don't.
They're not good at anything.
Yeah.
They're just, honestly, like, I hate to say it, but basic. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and that's me too. I've struggled with that too. Is like, what is my thing? You know, and that's a question a lot of like young professionals like us ask ourselves. It's like, what is our thing, right? So, but we end up, because of like a shortage of time or pressure of time, we just end up choosing something and just going with that versus having a skill that we honed up until then. And these kids were that. And just, even if I didn't have an interest in music, which is why I left, it was more so like, oh, like my mom wanted me in a better school, so that's why I ended up doing that. But just being around people who are really good at one thing, that's just a different type of energy to be around now that I'm older and understand that. So that's one thing I regret leaving, because I left that to go to kind of just like a public school where it's just like normal living. You know what I'm saying? Which, again, you know, it is what it is. But if I had the opportunity to be around that, right? As we're older now, we understand like the law of attraction, right? So.
And being around people who are better than you at things too, because you learn a lot.
Yeah,
and you
very-
learn about how they're disciplined, and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, you're like, you study every day, you do this every day, like
Exactly.
what? And in public schools, you don't. If anything, you're the opposite. You learn how to cheat, and you
I
learn
was gonna say that.
right. You learn how to
Yeah.
get through classes.
That was our era, I think. I think we're around like close to the same age, right? I
Yeah.
think. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely cheated my way throughout high school.
Yeah,
I
same.
cheated on the SATs. Did you guys cheat on the SATs?
SATs, no, but I think I cheated like almost like, I don't know.
I would cheat on homework.
Yeah, I would cheat on homework. I would cheat on tests.
How would you cheat though? Because like there's levels to cheating. You know what I'm saying?
So I would get, so my best friend was in the class with me. She was really smart, Lexi. And I'm smart too, but she would actually do her homework and learn things. So when we would have a test, she would put her paper so I could copy it. And I was lazy and I didn't even study. I didn't. So I would cheat in that way.
I literally just copy the answers. Like take the
Oh, that's
paper.
like amateur level cheating.
Yeah. But I feel like the
What?
teachers.
How did
Like,
you cheat?
like I used to do the notes. I used to have a little ass piece of paper.
Oh, I wouldn't do
And,
that.
and you got to learn what to fit on there because it's only so small. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to learn what to fit on there. What keywords could you use to try to
Oh,
figure out the
wow.
answer to other things? You know what I'm saying? Or like during the SATs, we had a whole system. It was 6 of us, and we set it up where we all took it at the same school. We had to register for which school we're gonna take this. Is SATs
Yeah,
not a
that's
thing
what.
here?
That's how we had to do it too.
Oh, it
like
is,
you
okay.
register, you go like on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And then we all registered the same school, and then we all wrote the questions and the answers on our piece of paper, and then we divided. Okay, who's gonna do what subject? Yes, and then
Dang.
and then we decided. Okay, we're gonna put it in the bathroom, like behind the toilet. Yeah, so everybody had to grab their version. So we had to do multiple versions of our answers. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we had to do it that way because they would change the order of the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just made sure to put the question and the answers. Yeah.
But do you think about how much effort it takes
Yeah.
to cheat? Like instead of us learning, it takes so much effort to cheat.
I think a part of it was just like the challenge of like, can we figure out how to get away with it?
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
is
saying?
true.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it definitely takes less time than us studying for like something like a standardized test. So,
Yeah. But I feel like we're all smart. Like I look at us, like I really think we're smart, but we were just like lazy probably.
Yeah, I was lazy.
yeah, for sure.
Didn't care.
Yeah, high school and middle school I was like into grades. Like I wanted to be like all A's. Elementary school all A's. I think in high school I was like, like
I don't think I ever cared.
that's when I
I
stopped.
mean, I would pass. I had like A's and B's, but I would cheat.
Yeah, and even college wasn't even a conversation for me after.
No.
Oh,
high
you didn't
school.
go to college.
I went to GTCC here, I think for like a year. And then I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like if I
Yeah.
felt like that, like what am I having to choose when I don't know what I want to do? So then I dropped out of college and then I started working and then I got my real estate license years later, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. You know,
Yeah, I'm
it's-
like, I don't want to go in debt because I know a lot of people who are just in debt from college. And I'm like,
yeah, paying
I
their
really
college
out.
tuition, thousands and 1000s.
I mean, the older you get, I think the more I realize like middle school, high school, honestly means like so little.
Yeah.
Honestly, to like the end result of like where you end up, because you could make it all up during your college years. Like, not, you don't even have to be in college, but during that time frame, you could make it all up. You're just gonna have to like work a lot harder than like everybody else who was on that path. But I mean, I would say it's safe to say, like, most of the people, including us, I didn't finish college either, turned out fine. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. So what do you say to people who think you need a college degree to be successful?
No, I mean, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, yeah. That requires like the paperwork, but other than that, in this generation, like, it was different when we were growing up. I think our parents were conditioned to think you needed that. But now it's just like, there's 18-year-old millionaires that just figured out some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember during the whole crypto buzz, like, I was like jealous of like some of these young ass kids buying some of these like cryptos I never heard of that just got crazy rich off of it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's the route, but there's so many avenues to figure out now with social media now that like you could kind of get the exposure you want if you just kind of put in that work,
That's true.
Yeah.
There's so many options.
A lot of options. It's just saturated. So a lot of unlimited options. You're just going to have to outwork everybody, So that's really what it comes down to.
That reminds me of one of your questions that you had.
Go ahead.
About what is your morning routine?
Morning routine. These days I've been boxing. Yes, which has been cool, which has been fun. Conditioning. So the mornings I box, I'll get up at 5:30, go to meet my trainer at the gym at 6. We'll train for about an hour 30 minutes. And then I'll go back home, do a quick workout, and then get to work around 8, and then just work throughout the whole day, honestly.
Yeah, that's one of the things when you own your own business, people think, oh, you have all this freedom. And really, you were working even hours that you don't have a clock in, or you were working all day long.
That's definitely a myth.
Yeah,
sure.
it
That's
is.
Because you have freedom working at a job. That's what it is. You don't have freedom being your own boss. 100% you don't. Because you have the burden of the success of it. Versus working a job, you don't really give a fuck. Like, I envy some of my friends who work a job because like it's just like you care up to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? But like you don't have to take home problems most of the times, or you shouldn't. Why the fuck would you? It's not even your business. You know what I'm saying? Like true. But for the business, literally so every from little problem to big is all yours. That if you don't solve it, it's just gonna linger, and you understand that. So it means it never stops, right? So. Like even something as like I told you, like, from my perspective, the studio is not really like my main focus at all. But I may get a call like from the girl who rents downstairs. Oh, somebody's parking in my parking spot. And that could happen Saturday, Monday late night if she's working late. And that's just such a small part of my focuses. You know what I mean? Then there's other problems that come from my main focus, which is the main business. You know what I'm saying? So like it just never stops. Like there's definitely, that's a huge myth to think that you have all this freedom if you own your own business. Now, if you have generational wealth, that's probably where the freedom comes. But that takes generations to build. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yes.
And then it keeps you, I feel like when you have your own business, it keeps you up at night too. Everything keeps you up at night because you're like, I feel like that's my dad all the time. He said he wakes up at 3 a.m. like, should I do this? I'm like, go to sleep. It's okay. But that's the only thing you can really think about because people are relying on you. Not only are you and your family, but other people who work for you.
You have employees. You have employees that are getting paid what they're getting paid. Then it's the dream that you're selling your employees because they're putting your faith in you and sticking around, right? So you have that pressure of like, okay, I know this person's not working to get paid what they're getting paid now forever, right? So you could only pay them more if the business is growing. It's really hard to just decide to pay them more. That's what sometimes some employees don't realize is like they think, oh, okay, it's time for a raise. the real time for the raise from a business owner's perspective is when the business is growing, more so than a fixated time.
Like
You
a
know what I'm
year,
saying?
like let's say, oh, you've been
Yeah.
working here a year, let's give you a raise. Like
Exactly.
our first
But-
year, you know, like you're like the first year we barely were surviving. Now we're barely still
Exactly.
getting by.
And that's conditioned more from like the big corporate companies where they just have a crazy budget to work with. You know, they already have their system is already perfected where they're paying their employees okay, and they still have like more left in the tank. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus small businesses, it's a process. It's a long journey. So a lot of employees don't really realize that. But yeah, I mean, the best time for a raise ideally is when the business is scaling. But the business isn't going to scale on its own. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And the employees, they may play a pivotal part in it, but there's still somebody that needs to kind of lead that charge. You know, and if you're not constantly, there's a difference between, that's another lesson is there's a difference between running the business and growing the business. Those are two different tasks. So a lot of people don't realize that either, is you're going to have to spend ample time on two separate approaches. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
That's true.
I would be stressed. I feel like I could not run a business like that.
There's pros and cons, you know,
Yeah,
and like
true.
in no way as a business owner am I even saying this is everybody
For
should do
everyone.
this. I'm not like one of those like, you know, like TikTok videos like inspirational. You should own your own. 100% no. I think it's personal preference. You know what I mean? There's pros and cons to both sides for sure. One of the biggest cons with owning a business is there's sacrifices, right? That's another thing, a big lesson. I mean, it's common sense, but it's not. Like sometimes you feel like people don't realize that you can't get everything. That's another thing I really had to accept internally is you can't have everything in life. It doesn't work that way. So you're getting something, trust me, you gave something up. You know what I'm saying? So like even you on your side, like you're due soon, right? Like, and having a child, you give up something. That's one thing I feel like is kind of taboo to talk about.
It is,
right? Because
yeah.
I'm having a lot of friends who are having kids now, and they are giving something up. But on the flip side, you're getting something precious, probably a type of love that me, as I don't have kids right now, I'll never really fathom. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure you already love that thing in
Yes.
your stomach more than anything in life, right?
Yes.
So that's but at the same time, you're giving up. Realistically, you're giving up some of your freedom,
Yeah.
and that's
And
just
You give up a lot, actually. A
Yeah.
lot.
And I've already started, he's not even born yet. And I've already you realize that you give up, you're like, well, I won't be able to, once I have the baby, I'll have to take some time to rest and take care of my baby. And I'm like, I'm not used to being still or depending on anything other than myself for the last 7 years or 8 years. And it's so weird to me to say, I'm going to be still with my child and a man is going to take care of us. That scares me, but I'm like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. And I think that that's something that I'm learning as someone who's independent is I'm going to give that up for a little while. I still have it. I'm still going to be able to work from home and stuff, but it is different,
sure.
And you too, you being a single mom and
Yeah.
Oh, you have a kid? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's
Oh, shit.
14.
Oh damn. Oh damn.
she was a young mom.
Oh shit.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh okay.
Yeah, you would never think that though, right? A 14-year-old, you think she?
I know people at work be like, what? I'm like, yeah.
Wow. You look young. That's why.
Yeah.
She had him when she was 9. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. But technically, you would look like it because
Yeah.
You're-
I was 18, but
yeah, and you gave up a lot
yeah,
at 18.
being younger.
That's when we're all wilding out.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Do you have any questions?
I like the questions you have. You're good at this. What do you? I feel like
ChatGPT.
you have a podcast. You don't have your own podcast, right?
We did, but we took a hiatus because the co-hosts I had, they were well, one of them, she kept getting anxiety from me because she's like, how are you answering these so smoothly? Right? And I'm like, yo, just if you can't answer smoothly, that's just part of your persona on this. You're a character.
Yeah.
We're all characters on here, whether we
I feel
are
like that's
trying
me
to or
on
not.
here.
And that's fine though. That's what I was trying to tell her.
But
is-
with time, it does. You get
Exactly.
more comfortable.
And I'm like, I could be the talkative one and you could be the one that kind of it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's part of it. And it's like, if I'm not complaining, why are you complaining? That's a conversation I had with her. And then the other one, he was real good on it, real good energy, but he felt people at his church were looking at him a type of way. And I'm like, you're such a bird for that though. Cause I'm like, so we would have certain topics. Like we had one where I would talk about like, there's a huge pedophilia problem in the Catholic Church. And I would say, we're in a Christian church. I would say, oh, in this Christian church, that happens, like not to the extent in the Catholic Church, but it definitely happens kind of on the low, especially in Korean Christian churches. Like there's a lot of like the teachers, like the Bible study teachers that would kind of groom the young kids, and then they end up dating later. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that happens all the time, but I was just bringing it up as a
conversation.
Topic. If it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if it happens 5%, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And they would, I guess I'm just speculating, kind of be like, oh, why are you speaking about negative things about the church? And I'm like, and I would tell him like, yo, just tell him like, we're just having the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if they have a problem with us talking about that, they're actually showing the problem. It's like, you don't want to talk about it. What are we saying? We're not saying no, people shouldn't go to church. We're just saying, we're just talking, having a conversation about it, trying to dissect what is happening. Why is it happening? Why is it not being talked about? You know, so that it's ironic that he kind of felt a little shunned for that. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
But I said he's a bird because you're letting them get to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, who the hell are they? They don't own the church. You know what I'm saying? Whoever it is that's making you feel a type of way, you know? And it's church. Ideally, you would think that should be a place where you could talk about everything. You want to talk about everything, right?
Especially something that serious. Like
exactly. You know, and it instead it becomes this place where it's like, no, you shouldn't speak anything negative about it. You know what I mean? So how genuine could anything be if you shouldn't speak anything negative about it? So that's why.
So he was Catholic?
No, he's Christian.
Oh.
Yeah, he was Christian. But we would just say, we would have topics like that. And then we would also have topics about like the funding with churches and how that works. More so learning about it. We were just talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what I would tell him is like, yo, whoever's telling you that, because I go sometimes. Nobody says a word to me. I wish they would. Not on some like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to argue with you type shit. On some like, yo, okay, if you feel this strongly about what I said about here, let's talk about it on here. That's the point of this platform, is because we're trying to have the conversation. You may hop on the podcast, we talk about it, and you may like completely outlogic me, and I say, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind that, you know, but it's having the conversation that becomes a little taboo sometimes when it comes to like institutions like that.
Yeah, people take conversations as like personal attacks sometimes, where you're like, it's just a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so much you can learn if you actually sit and talk. And you're right. Like, you could be like, damn, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I am wrong. Thank you for educating me on
Yes.
this. But I think that is not very common with a lot of people. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've been shooting. How long have we been shooting?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. That went by so fast. Right? Anything else that we want to... Is there anything that you want to share?
No.
He's like, y'all done made me share things I don't want to share.
Well, no, I don't. Like, there's nothing I want to share. There's nothing I'm not opposed to sharing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
Like,
you didn't come here like, I want to say this.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. I definitely didn't come here to like advertise the business or anything. I mean, I definitely didn't come here with like an agenda. So I was just more like, all right, I'll just let them ask whatever they want. I was gonna ask you guys what kind of questions you guys are gonna ask, but I'm like, I think it'll be more genuine.
Yeah, like
let you guys
chill.
let you guys just let it fly.
Yeah.
All right, no more. You guys are out of
think I'm
questions.
out.
Oh,
I think.
shit.
What have you seen? What have you noticed from our podcast in the last year and a half?
I've noticed growth. That's number one, and consistency, and I think that is key. Consistency and very wholesome. You guys are have very wholesome conversation. I will say, yeah, definitely seen the growth in terms of like viewership and whatnot. I think if I had to give some like constructive criticism, you guys want that or no?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you guys are being consistent and a little too consistent. By that I mean it's good that you guys haven't given up, because obviously I
I
get
say
it.
it all the time. I'm like, I can't believe we're still.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's times where you guys would just kind of be like, fuck, I kind of don't want to, or I don't feel like, recording or whatever it is, or you just may not be in the mood, but you guys stayed consistent in that aspect. Now, the constructive criticism part would be you want to keep improving, right?
Yeah.
So I think you guys could work on like certain improvements, trying to make improvements. For example, like even just staging, honestly. I think you guys could make way better improvements, because you guys could be verbal with me about that. You know what I'm saying? And like to
And
apply
we
this
talk about that too.
to apply this to like
Yeah.
and, anyone watching, it's just closed mouths don't get fed. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys could say, hey, we're thinking about getting this, or can we do this? Like I'm sure the thought has to come to mind at times. You know what I'm saying? With staging and whatnot. So it doesn't just hurt to, and I may help you guys with whatever it is you guys propose. You know what I mean? And I think you guys, and not to say that it's a bad staging thing, but you could keep improving. If you watch every successful podcast, their first episode looks way different than episode 20 and 25 and 40. You know what I'm saying? So it's because you could only learn by giving it a try. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. So I think you guys are being very consistent, which I admire. But I don't think you guys are taking enough risks.
True.
I agree.
Yeah.
Enough.
I feel like we started off with like a vision, and now we need a revamp. Like our
Yeah.
vision needs to be like, all right, we're here. We know now what we know. How can we be better? And I think we tell each other that we're like,
talk
let's do
about
this,
it,
let's do that. But I do agree. I think that we'll have ideas, and then we don't execute on them. But we will. Thank you for that. Actually, like, I think it's nice to hear those things, because no one else is gonna notice it or tell us these things. So it kind of makes me feel motivated. But motivation only comes here and there. But
Have you guys gotten any like weird stalker stuff from this? Yeah.
from this, no. I think that we've got comments about our feet. Be careful with your toes. We might get comments about yours.
Say whatever they want, y'all.
No, we do all the time though. It's
All the time with your feet.
Yeah, like we'll
they'll-
get comments from, I guess,
Like
guys.
what? I love your feet.
like
Like
they're
they'll
like,
be like, you're wiggling your toes. I don't know if they have a fetish.
Are these like friends or strangers?
Strangers.
Interesting. Very weird. That's really weird.
they'll comment and be like, love the white sock, white shoe combo, like weird
Yeah.
things. But there's like, love the way you wiggle your toes, or something like it'll be random.
I mean, engagement's engagement, right?
Yeah, we're like, you know what? Go ahead. But other than that, I don't think we've had really anything. It's crazy because we'll run into people who'll be like, oh, I watch your podcast, and it'll be like random. Like there's an older man that, and not to talk to shade him or nothing, because if he watches this, thank you for watching it. But he's like 60 something, and he follows us on Instagram. I know him, and he's like, I watch your podcast, and I'm like, what? Like you would think like, but he says we're funny, so
Yeah. No, you guys are funny. And you guys are very wholesome, very authentic, very genuine. And I think that's hard to come across. So I think that's
no, it is, and we've learned to be more like this, because I think at first we were kind of like, well, first we were like
Yeah.
that, and then we started saying way too much, and we're like, we dialed it back a little bit, and then we're like, you know what? But now, and I'm gonna keep that in mind, what you said of that we post for others, or like, or what would we say if we didn't care who people were watching? Like let's say we post and we're like, no one's gonna see this anyway, so what? Why do we care? You know,
'Cause we do cut out some things. I mean, some things we should though.
some things I shouldn't say. Just should not say. But all right, I think
that's it.
I think people are gonna want to hear more of your perspective on different things, right? Like I want to hear more of your perspective on other things, or even like do like a Reddit stories with him, because I feel like you'd be like you'd give good advice on there. But I think that we've been shooting for 50 minutes.
Yep.
All right. I think, is that everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank
for coming
you
on.
for coming
Oh.
on.
Of course.
And if anybody wants, and he said this is not like he didn't do this, but if anybody wants to shoot or I've had people reach out about wanting to start a podcast. This is a great studio and we enjoy it. We've been doing it for 1.5 years.
Yep.
Almost 2 years.
In January.
In January will be 2 years and we enjoy it. And we're going to start revamping our ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for coming and thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.